Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Cam, Senior National Training Manager at Diode LED, and this is going to be the next reel-to-reel on PURALIGHT. As you know, reel-to-reel, this is really trying to bring reels of tape light or tape light solutions to real life. And we've done quite a few of these all through 2024 and half of 2023. And this one is going to be on the PURALIGHT Flex Sheets, and we're going to talk about both the static white options as well as our RGBW option and RGBTW. So let's get over to the slides here. We'll start going through the higher level specs. Awesome. All right, so we're going to start out with the PURALIGHT LED Flex Sheet family. We're going to start out with static white here, okay? And there's really going to be two different options for static white. You're going to have your 12 volt option. There's going to be slight differences between the 12 volt and 24 volt, which is why I have two different slides for each one. As you can see, it's really the idea of PURALIGHT is to give you an option for backlighting that you have field cuttable capabilities, unlike light guide panels. So light guide panels, they are all engineered here at Reno, Nevada. You have to have very, very specific dimensions. We can do some unique shapes with light guide panels, like triangles, squares, rectangles, circles, and even curves. But with curves, you do have to have CAD drawings. Really, the benefit of the PURALIGHT LED light flex sheet panels is that you can actually cut them in the field. Obviously, though, there are cut points, so that means that you have some limitations when it comes to being able to have it border the border with the stone. It just depends on the stone dimensions or whatever you're trying to backlight. So you can see here, right, this is our 12 volt. You still get both beam angles, so 160 degrees and then also 120 degrees. I'm going to show you the difference in how those look. And you can get up to about 3,480 lumens in all, okay? If you want to break it down per square, it's about 0.31 watts per square and 33 lumens per square, okay? This has an adhesive backing. You can see it as almost like a large square tape light. So you still stick it on to the back side or the front side of something. It adheses the same way as tape light. And at 12 volts, you're getting 3,000 Kelvin and 6,000 Kelvin. So it's a little bit of a limited CCT offering. Okay, 80 plus CRI. The reason why with backlighting is if we tried to go up to 90 CRI, this would increase the price. And to be honest, most of the time you do not need anything higher than 80 CRI to really still have a nice quality light punch through whatever you're trying to backlight. And just keep in mind, though, these are also IP20, meaning that they're only for indoor use, okay? What is unique about the 12 volt, though, and the static white option is that you get multiple different ways that you can cut it. I'm going to showcase this here in a little bit, but as you can notice, the cut points are 1.31 inches by 1.31 inches, and the dimensions are 20 by 9 inches. So you're going to notice that dimension here, okay? That is 20 by 9. Really, all of the options besides our RGBW come in the 20 by 9 inch, okay? And that means you cannot do larger panels. So if you wanted to do something that was a larger install, you would have to butt these up together to create a larger installation. Okay, and then the 24 volts, really the difference is that it's actually a little bit less in lumens, but you do get a larger CCT offering. So 2,700 Kelvin, 3,000, 3,500, and 4,000 Kelvin. Almost everything is the same, besides also the cut points are a little bit less in flexibility when it comes to the cut points. Okay, so I wanted to showcase this. This is what it looks like. This is actually taken off of our installation sheet and spec sheet. So again, 20 inches by 9 inches. And if you notice there, you get those 1.31 inch cut points or 33.27 millimeters. Okay, and then you can cut these both at a horizontal, okay, as well as a vertical, but you also have the ability to be able to cut these at a diagonal angle. So that is the main key factor with the static white offering, is that you are not limited to vertical and horizontal cut lines. You can actually cut these at a diagonal cut point, meaning that you have a little bit more flexibility when it comes to trying to create unique types of shapes for different types of applications. So what is new for the PURALIGHT family is the RGBW as well as the RGBTW. So I want to go into the RGBW. There's a few things I really want you guys to notice with this. One is, if you see on the right side there in the picture, with our RGBW offering, it does not have to be solder. You can solder these, but we do have a little connection that makes it very easy to be able to make connections in the fields. Almost see it like a little terminal block, which gives you a lot of flexibility, because trying to solder RGBW is very difficult. Specifically with these solder points, they can bleed over very easily. Okay, so this is the same idea as all of the other PURALIGHT options that we have in static white, but now you get a full array of different types of colors, as well as you can switch back to the 3000 Kelvin, okay? And then I want to show you here really quick the cut points, okay? So really more every 6 inches by 2 inches. Okay, so a little bit less flexibility in actual cut points, as well as you cannot go diagonal. Okay, but really what I'm most excited for is the RGBTW option. Okay, so this is obviously combining RGB types of lighting with tunable white all in one. So you can do a full array of different types of colors, non-pastel, so with no white mixed into it. You can switch back over the tunable white and have a very large range of CCT, 3000 Kelvin all the way up to 6500 Kelvin. But you can also actually mix the whites back into the colors to create different unique types of pastel colors. Okay, so really up to about 5300 lumens. Now that is a little bit misleading. That is when everything is on. Okay, so on our spec sheets, you can actually take a look at the different lumen outputs for each color individually, as well as all of the colors on, as well as getting the tunable white lumen range as well, which you can see there it's 1650 all the way up to 1840. This is still 80 plus CRI. Again, you really don't need it for backlighting, but really the main key difference with the RGBTW is that it is solder only. Okay, there is no type of connection as of right now, so I highly recommend having the factory here in Reno, Nevada do the soldering for you. If anyone has ever tried to solder in the field, it is very difficult to do 6-wire soldering. And then just notice too, right now we're not offering the 160-degree beam angle for both the RGBW and the RGBTW. It is just at 120 degrees, okay? And you can see there again, the 20x9 versus the RGBW is going to be that 24x12. Okay, you can see here, just the different cut ranges again. So a little bit of a wider cut point as the static whites, but similar to the RGBW, but you get a little bit less in depth when it comes to the other cut point at 1.6 inches, okay? So I wanna demo these really quick. Let's do the top down. I wanna showcase first without them being lit up. This is going to be, if you notice here, anytime you see this, let me grab this really quick. I'm gonna grab. You can see here, notice that when you see this kind of more unique type of optic, okay, this is how you can tell this is the static white option here, okay? I'm gonna bring it up a little bit closer, okay? So we use this kind of unique optic to really give you this wide beam spread. And so that's how you can always tell that this is the static white option that's 160 degree. Now notice something here, okay? You're gonna have multiple different ways that you can bring your wire entry in, okay? On the top, okay, 2 different options here, and then on the sides right here, you'll be able to have 2 different options to bring your 2-wire positive and negative in, okay? And then I want to showcase here, so if you look up closely, okay, if you look up really closely here, you'll be able to see the different cut points, okay? Now, there might be a little bit difficult in the field. You have to kind of take a look at them closely, but you actually have the ability to be able to go diagonal, okay, as well as have multiple different options for cut points, both on the vertical angle as well as the horizontal angle, okay? Now, I want to showcase really quickly, I want to showcase what the 120 degree looks like here. So notice with the 120 degree, we're not using that more rounded bubble optic. Okay, we're just using a more flat optic. This is very similar to tape light. If you've ever seen tape light with a beam angle, tape light is almost always 120 degrees. Okay, again though, you still get the option to be able to cut at a diagonal range, as well as multiple ways going vertical, as well as horizontal. Very similar to the 160 degrees, right? You're getting 2 different options for wire entry, both on the top horizontal, on the bottom horizontal as well as the sides, as you can see here, okay? So we're going to talk about mounting awareness here in just a little bit, but main big key difference is if you want to bring in the wire entry here, you obviously do not want to cut going up here and cut off that wire entry. Then there's really no way to go around it. You want to be able to keep these wire entries. Just make sure that when you're doing installation in the field that you are careful on where you want to bring your wire entry in, okay? All right, so we're going to start to demo these here. So I wanted to showcase first the 120 degrees. Okay, I know it's going to be a little bit bright here at first. I'm going to dim it down. You guys can see it. There we go. We're going to fix it. And I'm going to showcase now. Just notice, though, we would not be actually adhering stone to the actual PURALIGHT in a real installation. The PURALIGHT would actually be adhesed about 1.5 to 2 inches away from the stone that you're actually trying to backlight. But for the sake of demo, you can notice here, this is what you get with PURALIGHT. You still get that nice, even illumination of backlighting, but with the flexibility to be able to cut this in the field, okay? Now, I'm going to switch this out for the 160, just so I can turn this on here. Okay. You can see here, this is where I'm bringing in my wire. Okay, I'm going to plug this in without the stone on top. Okay. So you can notice too, I have it a little bit dimmed down just for the actual the video so I don't blind you at home. Okay, and then you'll be able to pop stone over. Now, really where the 160 comes in handy is where when you have it, maybe you're a little bit farther away from what you're trying to backlight, the 160 is going to give you a wider beam spread to be able to have more even illumination. So that's really where I see the 160 degrees. For the most part, when you have stone or anything backlit close to it, it is going to give you the exact same effect. It's really that 160 degrees is to allow you to have better light dispersion in a quicker amount of time when you do not have as much room, but it is far enough away from whatever you're trying to backlight, okay? So I'm going to pop this up here. All right, now to the fun stuff. We're going to talk about RGBW here. So I actually, I already cut this sheet, okay, as you can see here. So this is the, like I said on the RGBW, there are solder pads. So if you are really, really good at soldering in the field, you can always solder the leads on. But our RGBW options do come with this little connector and with an actual lead on it. And then you obviously can extend the lead if you need to go longer lengths. You can also customize it and let us know, and we can create a longer lead that then just plugs in. Okay, now notice though, when it's up close, like I was showing earlier, right, you only get that vertical and horizontal. Okay, and I'm going to showcase this using our Kasambi system. Okay, here we go. 1 second. Let me go. Boom. Oops. What's going on? Let me check it out really quick. I think it might have been. Bear with me 1 second. Finding the right. That's weird. Try plugging it in again. There we go. Okay. Sorry, we're having a little difficulty with the driver there. Okay, so I'm going to go into it here, and then I can be able to take out the reds if I want, okay, the greens, okay, I'm taking out all the blues, right, and so now you can really mess with it by bringing the greens back in, and I'm taking out the whites, and I'm showing you what I'm doing here. I have it on a little bit of a different profile here, so I can also bring all the greens out, mix in some of the reds, as you can see there. So now we'll try it out with actual stone on top. Okay, we don't see as much RGBW when it comes to backlit stone. We see this a lot more for signage and different types of unique like displays that you can incorporate RGBW into, but it still looks pretty good with different types of colors involved, okay? Mixing all the white back in. So you can see it's very, very bright. I can also dim it down here. Okay, obviously it's not flickering in person, by the way, people. This is just over the camera. Okay, so, and then I really want to showcase the RGBTW to end it off here. Okay. All right, and so I'm going to showcase it with the soldered leads. So I want to bring this up close. You can see here, this is where we soldered at the factory. Okay, again, I very strongly recommend actually having us solder at the factory. So I'm going to showcase this with the stone as well as just the bare PURALIGHT sheet. Bear with me 1 second. Let's go into it here. 9 networks. Okay, so this is with the new Kasambi module here. So I can go like this, and I can actually switch over to the different whites. You can see I'm changing the color temperatures all the way down. Okay, and I'm going to bring it back up to a nice high CCT. Okay, but then I can also mix over the different colors now. So I'm going through my greens, more aquas here, more darker blues, okay, into my purples, pinks, all the way down to a nice like rich red. Okay, and then you can switch it all the way back over. And then with the right control system, like a good DMX system with the good programming, you can then take and mix the different CCTs from the tunable white into the colors. With Kasambi here, I can really just switch it back at the high level into a more 3000 Kelvin. Okay, that is just the limitations with Kasambi. But you can, with a nice robust control system, you can also mix any color you want and take that white and mix it back into it, okay? So let's switch back over to the slides here. Okay, 1 second here. All right. So really quickly with mounting awareness, there is a few things. So we've talked about mounting and installation best practices with tape light. It is very similar to what you do with tape light. You still want to clean off the mounting surface with an alcohol cleaner. We suggest about 70% alcohol, 30% water solution. Every single tech, every single installation guy should have a water bottle, a spray bottle that has this solution in it. Spray down the actual surface area. Make sure that you let it dry an average of about 3 minutes. Okay, but then the other thing is you want to make sure that you install the light sheets immediately after mounting the surface and once it's dry. The reason why is a lot of times people will wipe down all the surface areas, they'll clean them off, okay, and then they'll start another application installation first, and then by the time they come back to where they were going to mount the PURALIGHT sheets, it's been 30 minutes or an hour and a half, and now you've allowed time for dust and different types of particles to collect onto the mounting surface so that it's not going to adhere the proper way. So make sure that you install almost immediately after the mounting surface has been dried, okay? Also, use latex gloves when handling. This is very important. Anytime that you're dealing with bare LED diodes, you want to make sure that the oils in your skin do not touch the LED diodes. That is going to sit on the phosphor, and over time, when the PURALIGHT sheet is heated up because of being lit up, it's going to deteriorate that phosphor and damage it over time. It won't happen overnight, but in 2 to 3 years, you'll start to see different types of deterioration, either in light loss or certain areas not working properly. And also, one of the recommendations that we have for the 120 degrees is mounting it around at least 2 inches back from whatever type of stone or anything that you're backlighting. And in the 160 degrees, you can do a little bit closer if needed, 1.5 inches, okay? And then the last thing to recommend, I know I've hit this home, but really make sure with the RGBTW is I would really recommend having the factory solder that, okay? Last couple things when cutting, ensure to only cut along the dashed or solid straight lines. Okay, that's very, very important. Do not cut connection points from the sheet. Okay, this is required for installation. Just notice that little tiny connection point. This is the wrong way. Okay, as you can see there where the letter A is, they kind of cut it inside, and now that's going to actually damage the PURALIGHT sheet. It's going to sever the circuit. Okay, and also they cut off the little section that has the wire entry. Okay. So to end it off, right, we always talk about this. Where are the opportunities? Obviously, with our type of product category, the opportunities are limitless. There's so many different areas that you can backlight, different types of materials, even backsplashes that are translucent. We are seeing this a lot right now is people putting and specifying very specific types of backsplashes in their kitchen where they're actually backlighting, okay? So you can see here, just stones in kitchens, okay, backsplashes here on the left, even sinks. Obviously, this sink is square. If it was something that was curved, that would be difficult for PURALIGHT. You would want to do probably light guide panels there. The backsplashes of stone fireplaces, okay, other types of sink options, as well as even types of stone countertops or conference desks and reception areas. Okay, so to wrap it up, I want to talk really quickly about training-related resources. So just keep in mind, we do have a new training section on the Diode LED website. So if you actually hover your mouse over resources, you'll see it. You can click on training. Okay, it's going to take you to a little landing page. This is just the top part of it. It'll talk about factory trainings, our virtual trainings, as well as our YouTube page. I always want to mention, though, don't forget and check out our Diode LED YouTube page. It has all of the old reel-to-reel series, as well as our quarterly versatile specifier, our Light Lab series, our Why It Matters series, all these different educational videos. Okay, here's just an example of one of our light labs where we actually go through linear flex field assembly, how to actually cut it, how to make the connections, the wire entry, all that good stuff. Okay, we do virtual trainings as well. So I'm going to leave this on the screen for about 30 seconds here. Okay, and we can always go back to it as well, but this is just to be able to sign up. If you have not been signed up for the Reel-to-Reels, I strongly suggest it. You might have just gotten this link from a friend or a coworker. Okay, I'll bring this back up at the end if you haven't actually used the QR code yet. This, our YouTube page has all the old Reel-to-Reels. This will be posted here in about 2 weeks from once we end it. Also, field training, if you ever need us to have opportunities to come out to you in the field, we do lots of different cool field trainings at top golf events all over the country. So we can do a lot of cool installation training as well, and as well as factory training. So just keep that in mind. We do some really, really cool factory trainings here in Reno, about 19 to 24 of them a year. You get to see the facility, all the different machines, our engineering lab. All right, with that, this was the Reel-to-Reel on PURALIGHT. I'm Cam, the Senior National Training Manager. I appreciate your time. Thank you for joining us today, and I'll see you on the next one.